If you're going to spend over $200,000 on a new car, you want something special, right? You want something that is a bit different, stands out, makes a statement. Well, that is exactly what the Alpina B5 does. It costs just over $210,000. It has a twin turbocharged V8 engine under the bonnet, and as you can see, it's a sportier, more aggressive looking car than your standard 5 Series. Now I know what you're thinking, isn't it just an M5? Why would you buy something, a modified BMW when you can buy a pure, unadulterated BMW from M Division? Well, because the Alpina is actually a very different beast. Let me demonstrate. Inside, it's unmistakably a BMW, but also instantly recognizable as something different. Alpina gives all of its cars this beautiful blue instruments and also a unique build plate down here on the center console. But they also allow customers to personalize the cabin any way they like, even beyond the usual extensive list of BMW options. There's these different leathers, beautiful quilting in our press car here. There's different trim finishes across the dash. Pretty much anything you want, Alpina can give it to you, and that just adds to this real feeling of something special. It's the same story in the back with nice leather used throughout, lots of creature comforts, because after all, it's still based on a 5 Series, so it's got plenty of room. This really is, for all of its performance, the B5 is still a luxury car, so those in the back are pampered just like those in the front. Being a luxury limousine, naturally there's a roomy boot for all your luggage, and of course a power tailgate to make life easy. Behind the wheel, the differences between the B5 and the M5 become quite pronounced, despite their mechanical similarities. I mean, for starters, the B5 is not actually based on the M5, it's based on the 550i, which we don't actually get in Australia. But that means mechanically they're very similar. A 4.4 litre twin turbo V8, an 8-speed automatic, and all-wheel drive. Alpina has of course ramped up the power compared to the 550i, and they've also tuned the chassis. But instead of the M Division's focus to make the M5 just the ultimate sort of sports sedan that's at home on a racetrack, the Alpina B5 is actually really at home on the road. It does have ferocious performance, 447 kilowatts of power and 800 newton meters of torque. That's an extra 50 newton meters more than the M5 competition. But it actually is really at home cruising. It's a sedate, comfortable luxury car. You can put your foot down and it'll go. It'll build speed like a machine. But if you just want a luxury car, this one I think does it better than the M5. It's more comfortable to live with day to day. And a big part of that is not just the engine, but the way the suspension has been tuned. There's a level of compliance that the M5 simply doesn't have, which means the B5, soaks up bumps as it goes over them. It doesn't bounce across the surface, which the M5 unfortunately is wont to do. It can be a bit unforgiving at times. And when you're spending this much money on a car, you want that dual personality. You want it to be part race car, part limousine. And that's really what the B5 is. The Alpina B5 may lack that purity that you get from buying an M5, directly from BMW in its own tuning house. And at first it may seem like an unusual choice. But if you look a little closer, you're rewarded with a car that truly is something special.